Hello, welcome everyone to the fifth lecture of data analytics in Excel, the basic series. In this lecture, we'll be working with something known as conditional formatting, a very well-known topic. And there's some things that I will be, mentioning in this particular chapter, which is really important for you to understand, right? There are some myths that I'll be breaking up, right? And but we'll be working with like only two subtopics: why we have data here, and how do we conditional formatting, what are the types. But before we actually jump into this lecture, as always, I'll reiterate on the fact that everyone should subscribe, like, and share the YouTube channel. If you like the YouTube channel, you can always share it with your friends. With every 100 subscribers that we are going to gain, we are going to give our course for free for one particular kid who is in need and who really wants to do it, right? So we'll be working with that. Okay, let's just dive into it. You can find the sheet in description. I will use my mouse, for you to understand some of the things here. This exact data set is related to a supermarket sales, as you can see from the names also, and the name of the supermarket is Kingston. Okay, this can be hypothetical, situation also, but okay, let's see what all do we have in this data set. So we have around 2 to 8 data point, that is number of rows, and we can see this value is constant for everything. Okay, we have invoice ID, which branch, and under each branch which particular city are we actually operating in. How was the customer, do they have membership, or they're just a normal customer. What's the gender, what's the product that they have taken, what's the price, quantity, tax, date, time, payment, how did they pay, gross margin. Gross margins are all same for each and every cell, so we have need to check with that. And we have gross income and rating given by all these customers. Okay, last thing that we really want to emphasize on, which was clean the data set first. So we'll select everything, give equal spaces, and then we are going to go here, we'll do all WFF, we'll freeze the panes, we're going to select everything and bold, and I think that would be it. First thing that I notice here is this particular line, and we don't need it, so we'll select it and we'll click on delete key, and we'll go to the top again. And as gross margins are same for each and every what do we say, line item. These are the line item, this is one line item, the second line item, this is a third line item. I think there is no relevance of this particular column. So what we'll do, we'll go here, we'll left click on M, and then we're going to do right click after selecting it, and we'll click on delete. So we are going to delete this exact column, right? We have enough space for each and everything, and now our dataset at least looks a little clean, right? And the first thing that we are going to answer is why we have data, right? What is the reason? So the first thing, okay, one more thing that I can notice here is for some of the values I have two decimal places. Like I have one decimal places for some, and for some of the values there's no decimal place. Quantity doesn't require a decimal place, but sometimes it is 3, sometimes it's 2. Although 44.74 is actually bigger than 29.583, but just because we have another decimal place, we are not able to conclude that easily. We might think that is a bigger number, right? That's how human brain works. So we'll select this, control shift down arrow, we'll go to home, and then we'll do number formatting. We like this to be 2 decimal places. The same is to be done for gross income as well as rating. I like gross income to be only 1 decimal place, so I can reduce it from here also, there's no issue. Second, I will also want tax, that is 5%, and now it looks way cleaner as compared to how it seemed to be initially. And now we can go around and work. So the first question, why data? See, with every single transaction that you are going to make in your supermarket, you can understand what is the exact behavior of a customer. Let's say you have 10 items that you are selling in your shop, but the consumers who are coming to your shop are in like thousands or 1500 or let's say 2000 or more. It can be anything, but you will not be able to understand what exactly is being bought the most in your shop. If you are having so many transactions, you will not be able to have an understanding without having data in front of you. So we have data to understand what exactly is happening and how the sales are going for the company or your supermarket or your shop or whatever business line you are into, and where exactly I can focus on using this data, that is getting insights. And then we need to create strategies. That is something we do with consulting, business strategy development, out of our scope. For us, we'll like to get insights out of this, right, to make better decisions. That's why we have data in the first place. In all the businesses that we see in today's world, all of them are majorly running with data, right? So after answering this question, let's go to conditional formatting. So what I did here was, I actually bold all the headers. This is known as formatting, right? So I gave equal space to each and every column. That's known as formatting. I gave 1 decimal places for gross income and rating. That again is known as formatting. Now conditional formatting, as the name might suggest you, we give a certain condition for the entire column, and based on that we want some formatting to be done, right? And unlike the last lecture when we were working with multiple sheets and we were not able to use our conditional formatting because we were using multiple sheets, in a single sheet we can do that, and we'll actually do it. So by the end of this lecture, you will be able to do a lot of types of conditional formatting. Some of them are really, really important. I will teach them in midway if I'm not wrong. So I will dive into that and I will make you understand how things work. So the first thing that you need to do, click on Alt. Okay, all of these keys are in front of you. You need to go to styles, right? So it is under home. So you'll click on H, and then you need to click on L, as Excel is helping you out with this. You can need to click on L, and there are a couple of options in front of you. So we have an option where we can give the condition where we are actually giving a rule, right? And we are going to highlight the cells. So if the cells are greater than a certain value, they will be highlighted. Let's say I want only those values which are greater than 25, right? For let's say gross margins, I'm saying for gross margins, I can say for less than 10, highlight them in red. More than 30, you can highlight them in green because we're getting more income. We can also do between. So if I want from 0 to 10 as red, I can give 11 to let's say 29 as yellow, and then from 30 to 30, infinite, I can always give green. That's between function, right? So this might sound a little awful to you right now, why we are doing this and why we are understanding this, but once I actually do it, you will be able to understand. We have data in front of us just because we wanted to get some insights out of it, and we are getting insights out of it because as a human, it is easier for us to understand a data in front of you if it is visualized, as compared to we are having raw data like this. You will not be able to understand what exactly is happening, just by looking at the data. How many number of items are above 30, or how many number of items are below 10, right? We'll not be able to understand that right away. This is a very small data set that I have taken, but most of the time this will be in, let's say, 10,000 rows or something, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll try something as a greater than. Once I go to conditional formatting, it will become greater than. 29.6 is the number which is being displayed here, that is this cell. I will take let's say a random number, let's say 33. I'll take 33 and I'll click on OK. If it is greater than 33, then I want this color to be shown. Let's select green fill. If I'm clicking here, you can see nothing exactly happened. So unlike some other functions, to make sure conditional formatting is working for your data set, the initial step is to select everything. Control Shift right arrow. I purposely didn't do it because I wanted you to understand that this is the way we do it, because most of the time if I'm telling you to select everything and go, we might miss, right? So let's work like this. So if I'm going to conditional formatting now, that is Alt HL, and then let's say I'm going to H and I want greater than that is G. I can select, let's say above 30 I need let's say above 33, let's do 33. I want to go with green, right? And if I'm going to click here, also you can always just work on text, or you can create custom format also, what exactly you want, right? So if you want those cells to have a certain font, you can change the font also. You want them to get bold, they can get bold. You want certain borders around, you want the pointers to be filled with, let's say orange or whatever color. You can select it, whatever you want. You need to play around with this to understand this better. Let's say I'm going with blue now. I can change the format also. I can change it to any of these formats. I can change it to percentage if I want, whatever I feel like, right? But for now we'll just work around with, let's say, green fill with green text. This is something that will be homework for you to understand, that is custom format, because this is something that even I will teach you. You need to do it by yourself once. So okay, green fill, I click on OK. Second thing, let's say we want less than. If I'm having less than, let's say 25, those will be highlighted in red. And let's say I want a between, all of those icons which are between 25 and let's say 33, those items, oh sorry, 25.1, because 25 is actually being used already, and 32.9, right? Those will be in, let's say, yellow. So if I'm going to click here now, you can see a band got created here where we can just look at the color of a cell and we can tell if it is under a certain range, right? So we can say red is extremely rare. I can't see red for most of the things, right? But yellow and green is very prominent. So we can say most of the sales that we are having, okay, we have one that is exactly 25, 25.011. That's why it's white. We didn't give any color to this because we started at 25 and then it was 25.1. So this didn't get any format. We didn't specify anything. But just scrolling can tell us that okay, most of the values are above, the benchmark of 25 at least, right? And most of them are lying in yellow region, or most of them are all, half of them are actually lying in green region, half of them are actually in yellow region. This is what conditional formatting is helpful with, right? Based on a certain value that is assigned to a particular cell, or based on a particular number that is there in a particular cell, we can always decide what exact format we want to see. This will be helpful for us. So let's say I want to go to highlight cell rules also, or sorry, I want to go to conditional formatting and I want to remove everything. Then all I have to do is just clear rules, right? Clear rules from the selected range or the entire sheet. I will go with selected range. The same thing will happen. This will go back to the original page. So let's try to work around more. Let's try to do with ratings now. Okay. And highlight cell rules, we can have text contain a date occurring duplicate values. Let's say I want to see the duplicate values. Let's say I want text to be only black but the fill to be red. You can see most of the ratings are actually colored in red. That makes perfect sense because ratings can be repeated a lot by each and every individual, right? So we're not going to get any inference out of it. So if I want, let's clear the highlights first, and then I'm using my mouse now because I have to frequently go and it's just right in front of me. It's better. I can go with more values also. So this I will tell you the reasoning how we use actually this duplicate values function. Let's say you have 100 members in your let's say department, and some of them have have started from a certain date, right? And you want to find who all are there on a certain date. That is duplicate dates. You always highlight the dates and you will be able to see, okay, these many people are actually joined on the same date, right? Top, we can highlight top 10 items, right? That will be highest ranges. You can work around with these as a homework. The second is data bars. As we're working with ratings, let's just go ahead and let's just go with color scales. If I'm going to color scales, I'm not going to explain it right now what is happening, but if I'm clicking here, you can see the color scales here, and some of them are green, some of them are red. If the value is really low, you can see 4, it is red in color. If you're going to, let's say, higher value like 8.8 is green, in between it's yellow, and we are having shades, right? And if we are going to scroll through this entire point, we can say most of them are not actually giving us a really good rating. We are seeing a bulk of red in this region, we can see some yellow and red in this region, green is very less, and then we can see some red here as well, yellowish region here, and then some greens occur in this region, right? And then there's a lot of red here, right? So we can easily say the rating that we are getting is not really nice, right? So we need to work on customer service more. That's the first insight that we are getting out of this entire data set. Our objective is to not find the insights right now, but our objective is to understand what conditional formatting is. So we can do the opposite also. If you want highest to be red and the lowest to be green, you can do that as well, right? If you want white in color, that you can do as well, and if you want your own colors, you can do that as well. So let's say I want to choose blue and I want to choose, let's say, light blue. Always try to choose similar shades in the same color. So if I'm doing dark blue, I'm using light blue. I will tell you the reason. Oh, sorry, I have to select everything first. Conditional formatting, color scales. Let's say more rules. Let's go with green this time. A lighter shade of green. You can see a proper band being formed here. But if you are using, let's say, a very different color, color scales and more rules, if you're using very different color, let's say black, and you are using dark green, you will not be able to distinguish enough, right? That's why I always emphasize everyone to use a little lighter colors that you can understand also, because the whole point of using conditional formatting is to get insights, to understand what is exactly happening. That is the function of color scales. Now let's go to data bars. So if we are actually using data bars, you can see some of the bars being popped up. So whichever cell is actually having a higher value, like you can see 9.5, it is having a bigger scale as compared to 5.2. This is also a very useful tool where we can just look at the bars, and we can say, okay, we are having a high value, we are having low values. Let's try it out. We can say that we are having on average lower bars only. Again, the same inference, we can't infer anything else from this. But let's say what is going to happen with our unit price. Let's do color grading. You can use different colors also. Let's say you want to choose green here. While scrolling, I can understand there are only some sales that has been in place, which are having like really high values, close to 100. But most of the values are actually on an average scale. They are not very low. They are not very negligible. They are in middle. So it is ranging from 50 to, let's say, 70. Most of these data points, I can easily say that. Now, how I'm actually able to do all of this easily, you can do it by yourself also, but after a certain understanding, by using these tools by yourself. So now let's say I want to clear all the rules, I can do it from entire sheet by clicking here. That was about data bars. You can do solid fill as well instead of having data bars. Let's say I want this to be with gross income. Now data bars, and you can see how things are moving. You can have different icons also. Again, this is something that I will emphasize you to play on, and we don't really use all of these much, right? But again, it depends on a requirement of how exactly you want to do. You can create your own rule. You can create a 3-color scale. You can create data bars. You can work with icon sets. You can create your own rules here, but we don't need it as for now. So that was it for this lecture. That's conditional formatting. I hope this gave you a gist of what exactly conditional formatting it and why we do conditional formatting in the first place. So most of the time this is being done when you are actually working in a particular company, and you know that you have to write an exact strategy, and you need to understand the data first before you actually do further analysis. In those scenarios, we are actually going to do conditional formatting. Now we have used only numeric values. What if we are going to use, let's say, gender, or let's say customer type? Same thing will happen, member or normal. Okay, if you are going to do with let's say data bars, nothing's going to happen. Color scales, nothing's going to happen. Icon sets, nothing is going to happen. So we need to make an understanding here that most of the rules that we are having under conditional formatting is for the data points that we are having. So it is numeric values, for numeric values, not data points. So that would be it from my end for this lecture. If you have any doubts, you can comment down below, and you can also reach out to me by going to my YouTube channel, and you can also find my mail ID on my YouTube channel. You can mail me with whatever doubt you have, and I will love to answer all of your doubts. So that would be it from my end. I hope this lecture helped you. Again, this might not seem a very practical, but somewhat practical of what exactly we are doing. But we'll be working with more and more complex problems soon. So that would be it from my end. Thank you for joining, guys.